Hello and welcome to the new Tableau tutorial. And in this Tableau tutorial, I will going to show you the 15 different types of chart, the bar chart within Tableau. So bar chart is very common type of chart. If you have done the reporting and analytics, I'm pretty sure that there is not a single instance where you have created a report or a dashboard in which you have not used the bar chart. So bar chart is very common, very traditional, and because it has been used so many times in so many reports or dashboards that even for the end user it is pretty easy, right? And one of the primary use is that you do the comparison of categories. But with the advancement into the bar chart, you can basically create it for various different purposes, and that's what the objective over here, that all the different beautiful bar charts that you see in various different users dashboards or in different communities, and ever wondered how you will going to create these types of bar chart, then this is what I will going to show you in this tutorial, where in these 15 instances you will have everything that you as a Tableau developer or as a data visualization analyst need to know when you need to create a good, beautiful, and based on the scenario, the type of the chart related to the bar chart that you need to create. So stay tuned with me and we will continue with this journey. So now let's start with a very basic one in very step-by-step manner. We will advance to the various different types of bar charts so that this journey is easy for you, and after that you become like your own creative user, or you can use your own creative mind to basically going to use the right dimensions, values, as well as settings to create your own type of chart for your report and dashboard. So let's get started. Alright, so here we are within our sheet, and as you can see I have the examples up till 15, and for the second example I have created the 3 different variations. So along with 2.1 you have 2.2, 2.3, 2.4 because they were similar type of chart. So all in all, when you are going out, you actually not have 15 but the 18 different types of variations of the chart. So the very first chart, as you could see, is a very simple one. So if you are the first time user of the Tableau or very first time looking at this particular type of chart within Tableau, then it is good for you. Otherwise you can skip to the next type of chart. But this is what we call a column chart or a simple the vertical bar chart. And to create this, what I'm going to do is I am going to take the so as you can see, what we have is the column and rows over here. So the same thing we will going to do, we will take the dimension or the category value like subcategory over here, and then we will going to take the measure. Measure is represented by hash, as you can see in prefixed to them. So we will take the sum of sales, and then to sort it we have this ascending and descending. So when we click on ascending sort, this is the type of chart that we get. If you want to change the color, you will come over here and change the color to this one. And over here, if you see, there are some lines which is coming that you can remove by right clicking, click on format, and then here in the grid lines over here, you come to the column, to the rows over here, because these are rows, right? Because these are horizontal, so these are indicated as rows. So you come over here and click on none. All the lines have been gone. And over here, if you see that for some of the values, the dots are coming. That means they are not full. So what usually you should do is they come at the end, or they try to see how they can drag it towards right. But what you can do is come over here in this dimension where the standard view, fit width, fit height, or the entire view. So I will click on entire view. That way the chart will be on the entire screen. Also, if you think you don't need this, you right click over here and click on hide field from labels. Also, if you don't need this, you right click over here and uncheck the show header. That way at the end you have the beautiful looking chart. Also, the labels are not present. So what you can do is come over here in label and click on show marked label. That way your chart will be complete like I have shown it over here. As you can see, the chart, the bar width or the size of the bar is less. So what you can do is come over here and reduce the size to look like what we need. So sizing is also very important because that basically gives a good look and feel in case we have so many categories. So reducing the size of the bar chart will make it will create some more space where user can easily see the categories of the chart. So that's one. So we will say EX1, example 1. Now we have example 2. So this is a horizontal bar chart with the labels in the end. So what we can do is we can right click over here and click on duplicate, right? And we will give it example 2. I will show you a very straightforward shortcut way of doing this. Example 2, over here you have the transpose option or the swap rows and column. So once you click it over here, you will going to create this chart, the horizontal bar chart, right? So why do we need to create this type of a chart in place of this one? Well, whenever you have many categories, right? For example, even in this scenario, viewing the categories for an end user is very much easier as compared to this particular chart. Also from a comparison perspective, this becomes pretty easy because you have more categories and more comparison that can easily be done with the visualization for the end user. Okay, so that was pretty easy. And as you can see, you have these vertical lines, which are nothing but the column grid lines. So what we can do is in the formatting, we can come to the columns, click none over here, and the grid lines will be removed. Also, if you have a need to format these labels, you can right click and click on format, and you will find the font over here where if you want, you can make it Tableau medium. As you can see, it has become dark. And you can change the color. You want to make it a little bit more dark, you can make it so that your formatting is as per the needs. Also, these labels, if you need to format, you need to come over here in the labels, and in the font you will see that what you want to change. For example, you want to reduce this, so you make it 8. You want to make it Tableau regular, and if you want to change the color, you can change it from here, right? So that way you can do the formatting of your needs. Now let's move on to the next type of chart. So the next type of chart, if you see, what we have is along with these categories, we have the numbers, so that user don't have to go in the end. And you may have seen in a couple of charts where people have been experimenting with this, and you may have wondered, okay, how would I really create this type of chart? So the setting is really easy. So what I'll do is I will just right click and say duplicate again, and I will say that was 2.1 and this will be 2.2. Okay, so we will create same way one by one. So we are in 2.2. we have the labels over here. When we click on the label here, in the alignment, if you see, we have the horizontal alignment, we have vertical alignment. So right now we are talking about horizontal alignment because this is at the far right, and what we need is at the left. So once we click over here, you will see that you have the values just beside to the categories, so that along with the comparison you can see easy. But for an end user, people don't have to move their eye from here all the way till the end just to look at the number. So that way, looking at the number become really easy. And as you can see, setting is pretty easy. When you go into the label, you come into the alignment and you put your horizontal alignment to the left. All right, so this is 2.2. What is 2.3? 2.3 is you have not here, but as part of the table. So whenever you have need like this, you want to make a clear and bold representation of values, sort of a table. So what you need to do is, again, you will going to duplicate this, and we will say a 2.3 3, right? And we will uncheck the labels, and we will close this formatting for now, and we will bring the sum of sales here, but it will change the chart. So what you need to do is come over here on this pill, click on this icon and make it discrete. Once you make it discrete, these values have appeared over here. Now it is up to us whether we want these lines or not. If we don't need, we will right click, go into the format, and over here in rows, because these are rows, right? First row, second row, third row, all of these. So within the row, in these lines, we have over here grid lines, we have drop lines, and all of these. But that's where you will not find this. We have to come over here in the borders, because these are all part of borders. And here within the rows, you have row divider, and we will say none. When we say none, all the values have gone. If you even want to remove this sort of a zero line, it is up to us. And over here in this particular lines option, we can come to the column, and in the zero lines, we say none over here. All right, drop lines, you just need to little bit do the experiment. And over here, column divider, let's try to make it none over here. Yeah, so the column divider is where your values are present. So sometimes even you find it that you will need to experiment a little bit in terms of where exactly the value is, but as you will become more experienced, it will be easy where to look at this. So that's the fourth example that we have looked. After that, we have this fifth example where you will see that you don't have categories at all, but categories are inside the bar chart. So how you can do that is something pretty interesting. So what you have is this, and what I'll do is I will just right click and make it duplicate this one over here, and I will say this, and over here we will say 2.4. So the first thing is this, that we need to keep the labels at the right, because that's where the values were coming, and we need to have these categories inside the bar chart. So to do this, if you want to have both these values and these values, what we need to do is we need to create a duplicate field of sum of sales. So I will hold down my command or control key. So command is present in Mac and control is present in Windows. So I will hold down my command key and drag this on the right. What it will going to create is the same visualization for me. And over here in this visualization, what I can do is I can keep the values based on where I want to keep. For example, for one chart, I want to show the numeric values. For the one chart, I want to show the text values. Okay, so the first chart, let's say we want to show the text values. So over here, what we will going to do is we will uncheck this first of all from the first bar chart, and this is the second one, as you can see, the dragged one. And what we will do is we will put the subcategory on the label. So now the same subcategory is coming, as you can see, storage, chairs, and in the label we will come into the alignment and we will say left. So once the left is present, the categories have come over here, right? And after that, what we need for the second chart, we come over here, the second one. The color is something what we will make it white, right? So the bar has gone, and then what we need is come over here in the second pill, and we will make it dual axis. When we make it dual axis, you will see that it has changed completely. But what we will going to do is for the first chart, the sum of sales, from automatic we will change this to the bar, right? So as you can see, we have the bars, we have the values over here. We can uncheck these. So we come over here and we say we will right click over here and we will say show header. So the header is gone, and we will right click over here. First of all, click on synchronize axis, and then we will say show header is something we don't need, so we right click here and uncheck show header, right? And then you will see that this circle is coming, right? So two ways is what we can do. We have this circle. Let's try to reduce the size, and it has reduced completely. And over here we have both the values. You have the value at the end, you have the phones over here, and that way you will see this particular chart that we have created in the 2.4. The only thing is I think over here is complete bar that is coming, and here is a small dot. What you can probably do is maybe here make it a square. Oops, not this one. This I want to keep it this like this, and here I think I chose the square one over there. So basically the same way we can make it useful for our visualization. Even in the color you will make the opacity like 0, so everything is gone in the end, even that small dot is gone, and you can see your visualization is coming. So this visualization is useful in scenarios like those where you have less space for categories. You don't want to show it as a separate category, you want to show the save the space and keep the category as part of the visualization. So this was our 2.4. Now let's move on to the third. So over here what we have is the new introduction of the line. This is very useful and meaningful in scenarios like those where you are creating business dashboards, or where you need to provide some sort of a context to your chart, like how many values or how many categories are above the average and how many are below the average. So over here you will see that from the bookcases to the fasteners are the category which have the below average sales, and these are the categories which has above average sales. So definitely questions and concerns will come over here as to what's going on, and it will enable some sort of an action over there. So how we can create this? Well, what I am going to do is maybe I will just duplicate this one, the first one, and we will say example. I just double clicked over there. If you are wondering what I'm doing, I just double clicked and it will put it into the edit mode. So over here we need to come here in the analytics, and here we need to bring in the average line on the table. So you see that average line has come, the same average line, but over there I was showing the value as well. If I go to the third one, I have the value as well, and this was bit formatting, so the focus is more on the bar chart and this is more like a context, so it is not taking a lot of attention as compared to this one where it is more dark. So what you can do is you can right click and click on edit, and over here in the average you will say custom, and you will write average sales, and here you will take the value, and for the formatting of line you will say this one, this line and this particular mark, and click OK. Yeah, so that way it's up to us how much dark or how much lighter we want, but over here you will see the average sales 135129 is what it is coming, which is much more meaningful as compared to just showing the average like it was showing earlier. So that way we can create the average for this one, for the entire table or for the entire company. Now what if we want to do the average for each category, right? So you will see that line is present over here, right? So for that, again I will just duplicate this and make it example number 4, the base chart. I am duplicating that, and this is example 4, and over here again in the average line, when I drag it, you will see earlier I did it on table, but now I will do it on cell. Cell means individual categories. So once I click it over there, you will see that for now the line is coming in the end. So we need to change little bit of settings just so that we get these values not as a sum but as an average for this particular lines. Or another way is that we basically compare it with a different variable. That's also a possibility. So what I mean by that is, over here in the data, if you see, we have the profit. So if we bring the profit onto the detail, and when we go inside this chart, click on edit, we have sum of sales, which we need to change. Like here we have dragged sum of profit, we should have dragged average of sales, and the value will have come over here. So if you see, sum of profit is, if I do it a change, you will see the value or the bars have changed completely, right? So that's one way of doing this, by which you have the sales, you have the profit, and now you can see both the values over here. So in a nutshell, what it means is that on these average lines, whatever you want as a measure, you bring it over here on the detail, and then it will going to allow you to go inside into the edit mode and change it the way you want. So you right click, edit, choose whatever calculation that you want, and that way it will be easy for you to choose the average line and change it on your chart. So that's the example number 4. Now let's move on to the example number 5, which over here is the average by category. So the category is basically your main category. Inside that you have the relevant subcategories. So for each category, what is the average that is different from the overall average? So overall average was here for all the categories. Then for each category, we have looked at a different dimension altogether, or we can look at the sum of the average of sales. The only thing is we need to bring the average sales here on the details. And then what we can do is come over here, right click and make it duplicate. And in the duplicate, we will change, let's change this to example number 5 and bring the category over here. So as we bring the category over here, still it will show you the entire line, because this line is an indication that this is for the entire sale or the entire subcategory. So what we need to do is right click, go into the edit mode over here, and here you have the scope. So the scope is per cell we have checked, entire table we have checked. Now it is per pane, and click OK. And that way you will have the average line by each pane. That way you can show that how average is different for each of the categories, where technology is the category where you have the highest average sales, followed by the furniture and then office supplies. And even in these respective categories, what are those subcategories which are above average and below average? So for example, in case of technology, only phone is above average, rest other is below average, and in the sales. So these are, the context that you can add on your entire data and on your relevant subcategories or subcategories by adding the average lines. All right, let's move on to the next one. So we've looked at example number 5, but for some reasons what I see is 6 and 7 is missing. So that's strange. All right, we have from 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So what I will do is from 6, we have moved directly to the 8. I will just check if something is being missed from my notes. I will bring it back, but for now I will just continue the momentum based on what we have. Okay, so the next chart is what we call it lollipop chart. I have explained in one particular video and previously as well, but I wanted to cover it again as we are covering all the bar charts over here. So creating this is sometimes slightly technical, and I will just clear the entire doubt so that you will not have any issue again creating this chart. Okay, so what we need to do is again, we need to create first of all a chart, right? And what we need is basically the sales and the categories, right? This is what we need at the end of the day. And we will just swap it, sort it, okay, make it the entire view, This is our default settings. And over here, once we have the sum of sales, what we need to create this line of chart. So what happens is, think about this, when we create this particular chart, is we need something at the end, okay, and that is what it is coming here as a bar. So if I change this to a circle, right, so now we know the circle is here, but what we don't have is a line or something which is starting from here, starting from 0 up until this particular value. So for each category, we need to have a bar or a line that is starting from here and going all the way up till end. And that is what we need to do. So how we need to do is, we need some value which is starting at 0. So that's where we create a dummy variable, sum of 0, min of 0, whatever you have seen is something we will going to create. And another measure is nothing but your sum of sales. So what we bring is measure values. So what measure values allows is, basically it gives you the entire thing. So sum of sales is something I will keep it, and I will remove everything. And before removing the second last, I will need to add the, okay, here I will just add the sum of 0, because from 0 we need to start up till where? Sum of sales. So remove this. So what you see is, we have the starting value, we have the ending value, right? So what we need is basically line in this case, okay, not for all. I will change this to automatic, but for the first sum of sales, what we need is circle. For the measure values, the second one, what I need is the line, and the path. The path should be start from here going up till here. Again, for second category, start here going up till here. So the path should be starting here going up till here for the measure values. So we bring the measure names which is present here onto the path, and that way it will going to create your sum of, say, the lollipop chart, first particular chart. Okay, so what I will do is, here after this I will come over here and make it dual axis, right? And you can see that after that it's pretty straightforward, that you have the chart over here. So you right click, you uncheck the show header, and over here you can format these lines. I have already done that. Also, from each of these lines, for example, the color I will change, let's say this to not gray, not this one, line color I will change this to gray, and sum of sales I will change this to our standard color that we have been using. And then we will increase the size of the circle based on up till whatever point we want, how much bigger the lollipop what we need. And then on the measure line, since the line is coming over here, giving us a bit of an indication that it is going inside. So what you can do is come over here in the color and reduce the opacity over here. Also, even if you think this is something problematic, I just recommend that we use more solid color, not a transparent color like this one, maybe for example this one. That way we will have more better information. So that way you can create your lollipop chart, which is again sort of a bar chart which you may have seen that people are using, and that is making your visualization interactive. So that is your example number 8, I believe. Okay, now I remember what I did for example number 6. So let me give you the example number 6. Example number 6 is nothing but your rounded bar chart. So your rounded bar chart is, again, what you need is first of all these categories over here, not here, over here in the categories, and then what you need is sum of sales. So you may have seen the rounded bars starting here going up till here. So again what we need is something which is starting here and ending here, and that's how I got it. Similar example or similar scenario I just did in the previous example. So what we need, again, we need nothing but the measure values. So we will bring the measure values over here. We will remove this and we will say not aggregate, sum of 0, right? And we remove everything, then just keep on removing this. Done. Here. So we have something which is starting from 0 going all the way till the end, but right now it is bar. So what we will do is change it to a line, and line for this measure path is nothing but our measure names, right? So what we will do is we will search for measure name and put it on the path, and when the path is present, you will see that we can increase the size, and now this is nothing but your rounded bar chart, right? So again, you format this, right click, format, come here on the grid lines, on the columns, we don't need anything, and this is your horizontal line. I believe this is present here. Column divider is none in the column. We have pane. Let's try to make it none. No. Okay, I'll come here. Okay, 0 line. This time it is 0 line. So now the 0 line is gone. So that way you have your beautiful looking the rounded bar chart. So that's what I wanted to show you as an example 6. Once I will remember the example 7, I will show you. But for now, I will just continue with the scenario number 9.